Greetings. Do you know what that makes me think about? When I say the word greetings, and I say greetings to you, it makes me think about Sunday morning. And Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. And at Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, from 10 o'clock till just about 10:10, the sound of greetings is just about my favorite part of the day. At Calvary, we advertise that we begin at 10 o'clock, but that beginning is all about saying hello to each other. And what I love about it is that it's never rushed. Sometimes we don't officially begin the service at 10:10. Sometimes it's a little bit later because I don't want to rush those greetings. And you can hear it all over the building and filling the sanctuary. And what you hear in each greeting is joy. And it made me laugh thinking, even with mask on, what you can still hear on a Sunday morning in those greetings is joy. And it's awesome. It's a delight. And as I said that to you to start this video today, that's immediately what came to mind was last Sunday, the joy-filled greetings that God's people brought into this sanctuary, his sanctuary on Sunday. And of course, it made me think about the New Testament letters, that just about every New Testament letter, the first 2 or 3 verses are filled with greetings. And those greetings always typically end this way. And I'm going to quote from 1 Peter, how the greeting ends. Grace and peace be multiplied to you. So that's how I want to begin this, and begin this Tuesday and this week by saying greetings to you. There's joy in that. And in this greeting to you, may grace and peace be multiplied to you. This morning I came across an article. I just read the headline. I didn't read the entire article. But the headline was just so interesting. It was about COVID fatigue. And I think we could all agree we each have suffered or are suffering from COVID fatigue. I heard someone yesterday say, if I hear the word COVID one more time, I'm going to lose it. I think we all have COVID fatigue. And let's face it, the year 2020 has been trying. It has been a trial. And every day it feels like, one, the trial's not over, and you might then ask yourself, when will the trial be over? And we hope for the trial to be over. And so I want to ask this question. And can we agree that this year is a trial? It is troubling and it is a trial. So I want to ask this question. How do I fight through this trial? And it's true of any trial I find myself going through, because the Bible does promise us. Jesus himself promises us, as long as we're in this world, we will go through trials. Listen to John 16, verse 29. And just keep in mind when it is that Jesus says this verse. He's in the upper room with the disciples. It's a Thursday evening, and it's unlike any Thursday evening that these men have ever shared with Jesus. He has enjoyed for the very first time something that we call communion or the Lord's Supper with these disciples. And once he leaves this room, he's going to face the worst experience in his life. He's going to head out to the garden where we see and hear him under immense strain cry out to God. He will experience the betrayal of a friend. He will be arrested. He will be mocked, severely beaten, and then nailed to a cross. And with all that on his mind, still in that upper room, as they're getting ready to close, Jesus says this to those closest to him. John 16:29. John 16:33. I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world, you will have tribulation, but take heart. I have overcome the world. Again, John 16:33. And it's Jesus' great promise. You will have trouble in this world. Sometimes we talk about it like this. At any given point, you are either headed toward trouble, in trouble, or coming out of trouble. In this world, as long as you're in it, you will have trouble. But Jesus reminds us, but take heart. I'm saying all these things to you so that in me you may have peace. And the reason we take heart and the source of our peace is that even though the trouble we go through, Jesus is the overcomer. He has already overcome the world. But it is interesting is what he promises. Don't be surprised at the trouble you face at any given time during this life, especially as my disciples. And of course, what comes to mind is 1 Peter. And Peter heard those words. He was right there listening to these words the very first time they were spoken. And listen to what he says in 1 Peter. 1 Peter 1, it's verse 6, but I think we need to read the verses prior to verse 6. 1 Peter 1, and we'll start with verse 3. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. According to his great mercy, he has caused us to be born again to a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, to an inheritance that is imperishable, undefiled, and unfading, kept in heaven for you, who, by God's power, are being guarded through faith for a salvation ready to be revealed in the last time. Period. And then here comes verse 6. In this you rejoice. What do you rejoice in? I am being kept by God's power through faith for a salvation ready to be revealed in the last time. What is that salvation? Friends, it's this. It is seeing with my own eyes Jesus Christ in the flesh. That is what I'm waiting for. That is the salvation ready to be revealed in the last time. Verse 6, in this you rejoice, though now for a little while, if necessary. So if we agree that 2020 is a trial, it's necessary. The trial, going through it, is necessary. For what reason? If necessary, you have been grieved by various trials, so that the tested genuineness of your faith, more precious than gold that perishes, though it is tested by fire, may be found to result in praise and glory and honor at the revelation of Jesus Christ. So hold on to this. There is a result from every trial. Any trial you go through, and let's just agree, 2020 is a trial. The Bible teaches us there will be a result from this trial. And what is it? Praise and glory and honor at the revelation of Jesus Christ. Notice, though, in verse 6, when Peter goes on to describe trials, he says, though now for a little while. In other words, trials are short. But you know what's odd about that? No trial, and you know this by experience, no trial that you've ever gone through feels short. It feels long. And it's just like this one in 2020. This is feeling like it's getting longer and longer. The Bible would say this, well, relatively speaking, it's short. Relative to what? That when you see Jesus, we'll look back at every trial and say, not only was that short, it was worth it. So, to get back to our question, how do we fight through every trial? We don't want to fight the trial. We want to fight through the trial. So I want to give this helpful counsel, and it's something I've been preaching to myself. And any opportunity I have to talk to anyone, it's exactly what I tell them. This is how you need to fight through this trial. It's these few words. When these trials give way to glory. What we must be preaching to ourselves all the time is that there is a result to this trial. What is it? It is glory. And so I want to pray this, that I not be kept from the glory. And how might I be kept from the glory? It's when I want to give up, and I do give up through or in any trial. Do not give in. Do not give up, but remind yourselves and preach to yourself there is a result at the end of this trial, and it is glory. I don't want to be kept from glory. And if I don't remind myself that there is glory at the end of this, not glory for me, but that there's a glory or a glory about me. But if I don't remind myself that there's a glory at the end of this trial, that's me being kept from it. And specifically, what is the glory at the end of every trial? It's that I am being prepared and I am being perfected to stand physically with my own eyes and see Jesus Christ in the flesh. Psalm that has really come to mean a whole lot, not just to me, but I believe to our entire church, is the Psalm, Christ the sure and steady anchor. And I just want to share the fourth stanza. Christ the sure and steady anchor as we face the wave of death, when these trials give way to glory. As we draw our final breath, we will cross that great horizon, clouds behind and life secure, and the calm will be the better for the storms that we endure. And as we remind our own selves not to give up and not to give in, but to keep preaching to ourselves, there is a result at the end of this trial. The result is glory. Do you know what is helpful? Is not only that I remind myself that, but that I gather with believers and remind them that. And in return, they remind me that. So do you see what we need? We need one another to come alongside us and be preaching the very same thing. Imagine a great chorus of believers that every time they gather, the song on their lips, the words on their lips is, this will all give way to glory. So, in one essence, we spend a lot of time just with ourselves, and we need to preach to ourselves. But what also is necessary is to be with believers and hear them preaching the same truth. Fight through this trial today and this week.